That man got basketball CT. How is this video 37 minutes long? That's my question. This is apparently, from what I've seen, a very interesting video. Well, let's just see what's going on here.
We give credit to the people who stayed home. Steph legacy, we get to use 4 championships. KD was part of 2 of those, but he don't get his credit for those 2, right? So we don't say, yeah, you get to cement your legacy.
I did not debate about KD carrying Steph for those 2 championships for years to hear this, bro. What is he talking about? He doesn't get credit for those. There are certain groups that will say, oh, those rings don't count. I feel like when the conversation flips back to Sir Wardell, they're ready to give him all the credit for the championships. I mean, I guess it's just both in a way.
We say, oh, you left and you went over here. Well, you're giving him credit for the 2 that I helped him get.
Who's not giving him credit?
Everybody. Nobody. You don't discredit for Jordan, people coming to him, those stars that left their teams. You just say Jordan got 6 championships.
Why would you discredit? Wouldn't that help their case that people wanted to go play with them because they knew that was like their best chance of winning?
You actually demoted yourself to go over here and be a part of somebody else's.
So the thing is, does the king get demoted if he screams for help?
What made people that left the sour taste in people's mouth was the fact that that was the team that they just played.
Yes.
And you blew 3-1 lead.
If they didn't play them in the playoffs and him going there,
It would have been fine.
It wouldn't have been a big of a deal.
I mean, I feel like it still would have been a big deal because we still won 73 games and he still came here. But it obviously wouldn't have been as big of a deal.
How come the group itself don't have no one talks about Golden State losing to LeBron, then adding Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
No one looks at it that way.
Yeah.
Was he just like off the internet when all of this was going on? Nobody talked about us losing to LeBron and getting KD?
You lost to LeBron James.
Yeah.
3-1. How do you go 73-9, lose 3-1, bring on the #1 scorer
because it's
and
easy.
the #2 player in the NBA? You bring him on your team, and nobody looks at y'all.
This is like a nitpick, but he couldn't have been the #1 scorer in the NBA at that time because Steph had just won the scoring title.
That's why I say it's the narrative.
KD was the king. KD was the king of OKC.
All right, so I got some stuff here. So the first one is I feel like this just like disproves the whole they just lost and then instantly just decide, hey, let's go grab KD. So Klay Thompson's dad, Michael Thompson, Warriors will go after Kevin Durant in 2016 because he was gonna be a free agent, and that was like a big conversation even in the season leading up to it. If you'll notice, this report was from May 1st, 2015, before the Warriors even won the first championship, and so they were already like planning this out for a year and some change ahead of time before that Cavs series, even the second Cavs series even happened, before the first Cavs series even happened. They hadn't even made it out the second round yet. Then there was this one. This is from David Griffin in 2019. Cavs tried to pair Kevin Durant, LeBron James after 2016 finals. So if this actually happened, what does that make? What do we say about this? It makes sense because a lot of teams at that time wanted Kevin Durant. He met with us. He met with the Spurs, the Celtics, a couple other teams that I can't think of right now. Like, it wasn't just us. We were just the best fit for him. But a lot of people wanted him because he's Kevin Durant.
7-3-9, you lost to the real king. And then you guys need help.
But we beat them already.
You didn't.
We had beat them before that.
You beat them without winning.
We beat them.
Because the soldiers got hurt.
Don't matter. You're using an excuse.
But no.
Don't do that. You're starting a narrative too.
No. This is reality.
Because you're not giving credit to the guys who beat the Cavs team before Kevin Durant got there.
We're not talking about that.
I know you're not.
I'm talking about the 73.
We're talking about
you're not giving Steph credit for that.
No, he got credit for that.
Okay, so he got credit.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't really say that we got credit for 2015, especially not at the time. Also, when you talk about your soldiers being hurt, you can't say that without also acknowledging the injuries in 2016, Andrew Bogut. Dog, the amount of points in the paint that we were giving up after that had actually happened, And also, Iguodala was dealing with back problems towards the latter half of that series. Steph, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like in the moment you don't really notice it, but like when you look at how he was playing before and after in terms of like the series, dog, even when you look at when in game 4 when he dropped 38, there's a very clear difference in the actual shot selection and like the shot diet that he had in that game, especially in like really the entire series. Even in game 6, it was mainly threes, whereas like in the regular season, for the entire regular season, it was like pretty evenly split between 2-point attempts and 3-point attempts. But like in the finals, majority of his shot attempts were threes, and this is something that we've seen different anonymous Cavs staffers saying after the fact, that there was a gradual erosion to his game, that he stopped moving off ball as much. Like you could clearly see that the injuries were affecting him. Case in point, 2015, he's driving past bigs on switches, no problem. 2017, he's driving past bigs on switches. 2016, he can't get by Kevin Love. So like, what's the common denominator there? It took Draymond being suspended, Clay being hurt, maybe Andre definitely being hurt, Steph definitely being hurt, Bogut being out for half the series. So 5 things for the Cavs to beat us by 4 points in game 7 during a night in which Steph and Clay combined to shoot some crazy percentage. Combined, they shot 12 for 28, or 12 for 38 combined. My bad. 36. My bad. I didn't go to college. Well, I did, but I dropped out.
Are they supposed to come back with the same team, or are they supposed to get better next?
Same team. Okay.
So you're not supposed to get better?
They don't need a Kevin Durant.
So you're not,
okay. They don't need
Okay.
They don't need
They lost Harrison Barnes.
That's fair. That's fair. But also at the same time, if you literally put anybody other than Harrison Barnes at the small forward, like I feel like that's just obvious at this point. They didn't need Kevin Durant. They needed someone that wouldn't shoot 15% in a 3-game span, all on wide open shots. That's factor number 6. I feel like people are under the assumption that like us improving was going and getting Kevin Durant, but like all we needed to really do realistically was get somebody that wouldn't shoot 5 for 32. Also, if KD wants to come here, because obviously you're gonna recruit him, if he decides that like, oh, I want this to be like my next team, what are you supposed to do at that point? You're supposed to say, I mean, people might say mean things about us. I mean, this is kind of like OP, is it not? Like, what do you expect them to do? Like, if he wants to come here, then like, what are we doing?
It just so happens
It's a super
that recalibration of this was a really, really an amazing basketball player.
Second player in the NBA at that point in time.
It made it easier for the media. And certain people around the league, of course, it made certain guys around the league felt the way, of course. But it's the media that made it a big, big deal. I even said, like, damn, KD
Same
might
as Ray Allen, though. To me, that's why it's the same as Ray had just lost to the
It's not the same.
No, dog, a 37-year-old Ray Allen joining the Miami Heat after losing is not the same as Kevin Durant in his prime joining Golden State. Like, what are we talking about right now?
That's the narrative, not the Ray Allen shit. That's the same equivalent of, but because you said Ray Allen, it's not. Ray Allen came off the
Ray Allen was 37 when he.
Ray Allen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
This has nothing to do with Ray Allen.
That's what I'm
Why
saying.
are we moving so? They get arguably the number 2 or the number 1 best player in the league.
How would KD be in the conversation for best player in the league if he had just lost 3-1? Steph blew 3-1, and people were trying to say that he wasn't in a top point guard anymore. I still remember this. There was a graphic that Jay Williams had during the 2016 draft. The title of the graphic was Elite Point Guards, and it had just pictures of different point guards from across the league. It was Kyrie, Russell Westbrook, Isaiah Thomas, there was a debate. Kyrie is a better point guard than Steph. It wasn't even really a debate at that time. If you tried to say that Steph was better after that series, you got laughed at. Like, that's how bad it was. But it was Kyrie, it was Westbrook, it was Isaiah Thomas, Kemba Walker. I think James Harden was up there because they had like just talked about moving him to the point guard position. They had Jeff Teague on that graphic. And Steph, Chris Paul, they had Jeff Teague on that graphic and Steph wasn't on there. That's the point that we were at. KD still being in conversation for the best player in the league after, man, shut the hell up.
But how are you the number one team? You just went 73-9 and then you scream for help.
How are you the number one player, as you say, and you want to go to that team?
That's the real narrative.
How many people can call a player and be like, yo, I want you to come here. Hey, man, I would love to.
We already talked about this before with, they had already been planning this out for over a year. But since Gilbert is a LeBron guy, I'm going to pull up some tweets real quick from 2011. This is during the lockout. Would love to see Jamal Crawford in a Heat uni. What do you guys say? The fact that I don't know if he ever got fined for these, but this is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I'd love to see Jamal Crawford in a Heat uni. What do you guys say? This is after they lost to Dallas, of course. And then another one. Maybe Steve Nash in a Heat uni so we can help each other get our first ring. I know this doesn't really have any relevance to what they're actually talking about, but I know that Gilbert's a LeBron guy, so I just needed to set the record straight that LeBron has also done similar things before.
Who else went to go try to get him? Who else went to go try to get him? Show me the names of the teams that tried to get Kevin Durant.
I just realized I'm covering Gilbert's face.
The Golden State Warriors did not get blamed for recruiting.
They didn't get blamed.
They did, but they should have.
I'm telling you,
You should have been to blame for calling your brother.
Dog, we got flamed all the time. If your team isn't going out and trying to get Kevin Durant, that GM should be fired. Oh my God, exactly.
Everybody gets to hold their head up while everybody is looking at Kevin Durant like, oh, nah, dog. You went to the Warriors.
The reason why is because the team was already established and they were already good. Like, it wasn't just like we just sucked and then he came here and then all of this happened. Like, we were already good, as you said. That's been your whole argument. Like, the reason why they get all that credit is because Steph was already a 2-time MVP, the first unanimous MVP in history before that happened.
You called me because you needed help beating LeBron James.
Okay, so I just found the article. Man, the internet's really great. You can just find anything you need in less than a minute. Kevin Durant to meet with OKC first, then 5 other teams in the Hamptons. So it wasn't just us in the Hamptons, it was the 5 other teams that were trying to get him, which were us, the Clippers, the Spurs, the Celtics, and the Heat. So those were the 5 teams that met with him in the Hamptons, not just us. We didn't go track him down. Every team that was trying to recruit him did that. So all title contending teams gotcha. Precisely. So the Clippers, who won, I think, 56 games that year. The Spurs that won 67. The Celtics that won, I think, 51, somewhere around there. And the Heat that they were honestly on their way out because Chris Bosh was on the verge of retirement at that point.
You gotta remember, the athlete, we don't judge each other off of non-basketball. Because when you just think about just history, most of the guys whose legacy is high, they went into winning situations when it started.
There was only one person who was like, yeah, he went to LA to go be Shaq. When he left Orlando, it was more than basketball.
But nobody dims his championships.
Yeah.
Winning and going over there. Nobody talks about Shaq's championship when he went with Dwayne Wade. No one talks about Dwayne Wade championship when he got with Shaq. It's a champ.
This is a really this is a really bad argument. Nobody says the same thing about Shaq going to the Lakers because the Lakers weren't as good. The Lakers, I believe, in the season before they got Shaq, they had won 50 games or something like that, but they still weren't a surefire title contender even when he got there. He got there in 96. They didn't win until 2000. Same thing with Miami. He got there in 2004. They didn't win until 06. They had to wait for Kobe to become what he was. Had to wait for Dwayne Wade to become what he was. That's a really bad comparison.
Whenever a big player gets added to a super team, it's the organization's doing. Bradley Beal made a decision to get there.
He got traded?
So is it the Suns that's like, all right, is it?
Yes, he got traded, but he has a no trade clause. So he has to, like, he wanted to get traded there. That's why he got traded there. They couldn't trade him anywhere where he didn't want to go. That's the whole point of having a no trade clause. All right. That. Oh my goodness.